everybody, Master Marcos here. I'm really excited because back from Cuba, that sounds funny to say. Okay, we got Mr. Kevin Perez. All right, Mr. Kevin, you were out. You went to Cuba to visit your family, and you were gone for 3 weeks. How was it like?
It was an interesting experience. I have to be honest with you. I went over there and I met 11 aunts and uncles. Each one of them had about 7 kids apiece, so I had about 80 cousins, and it was one of these experiences where I got to meet all this family, and it's weird because I don't have that kind of family here, and they treated me like a son that never left, and I lived with them for about 3 weeks, and it was one of the most beautiful experiences I ever had, and like super decent people, great people that I met over there, and I consider them family. They're my blood. We have the same blood running through our bodies, you know. And getting to it, I also trained in Cuba. I trained boxing over there.
How was the boxing training?
The boxing training was amazing. It was one of the best things. I went to 3 different gyms in Havana, and I went to Kid Chocolate. I went to Gimnasio Rafael Trejo. I went to another gym as well, una sala polivalente. And what I did is I would just walk into the gyms and just ask about the boxing and stuff like that, and then I would stick around and just watch some of the training. And I went to 3 gyms, and the 3rd gym I went to, when I got there, they were training the adults. And I sat down on the bench and just started watching the training for about 40 minutes. And I was fascinated by the trainer, because the trainer would start training. Not only would he train, but he would stop every few minutes and explain why it is he's doing what he's doing. And he seemed to be really knowledgeable about boxing, and I liked his philosophy behind it. Like, I remember when I first got there, I heard him talking to one of the students who wanted to start sparring, and he told him, no. In my gym, nobody spars until they're a boxer first. And I didn't understand what he meant by that, and he started explaining it to the students. He was like, in my gym, he goes, what I teach you first is the school of boxing. In the ring, that's the school of combat. You're going to learn first the school of boxing. You're going to have footwork down, you're going to have technique, you're going to have defense, you're going to have all this stuff going on. When they throw a jab at you, you know 10 different ways to block that jab. When they throw a cross, you know 10 different ways to block that cross. When I put you in the ring for that first time, I want to see that you don't get hit. If I put you in that ring and you get hit 4 or 5 times in that first round pretty hard, I didn't do my job right. My job is to make sure you don't get hit, you know. And I just like that mentality that he had. And his mentality is that he brings people up slowly. He starts off with light sparring to the body, then he moves it up, and little by little he brings them up to their peak until they spar hard. And I kind of like his mentality where he's like, I don't like to see 2 guys go in a ring and just beat each other up. That's not boxing to me. He goes, I want to see technique. And that's what I'm all about. And he seemed to be a trainer that was more interested in an intellectual fighter, a fighter who used his brain to fight. And I really like that about him, you know. So as soon as I met that guy, that gym was a little more run down than the other one I went to. But I said, this is the guy I want to train with. I told the guy, I want to train with you. And the guy told me, come. He gave me his phone number. He gave me his address. He told me, you call me at night. You tell me when you want to come in. The next day we're here at 9 a.m. and we're training. And I trained with him, and I trained with the Cuban boxers that were there. And there even was one other foreigner training with me, a guy from Holland who was a professional boxer who comes, stays for like 6 months, trains there, then goes back to Holland and fights boxing matches over there.
Wow, that's pretty amazing, Kevin. So now you've trained in Thailand, you've trained in Brazil. Just to give everyone an idea here, Kevin did 1 month. I'll put it this way. Mr. Kevin here did 1 month of training in Thailand, where he did an advanced instructor course there, and he trained under many champions there in the largest Thai gym, the largest kickboxing gym in Thailand, which is Tiger Muay Thai. And then he did a month of training in Brazil, where he trained in several different schools. Which schools did you train at in Brazil?
I trained mostly at a guy named Roberto Gordo's jiu-jitsu. Roberto Gordo Correa. He's a guy, I believe that the myth goes he invented the half guard.
That's what I hear. That's what I heard.
Yeah,
I heard the godfather of the half guard.
He's a cool guy, and it so happens to be that when I met him and I was talking to him, this is how you know that the Avalons are worldwide. Because when I met him, I started talking to him. I go, no, I train under David and Marcos Avalon in Miami. He goes, oh, David Avalon, I know him. Naga champion, right? Miami Naga, right? I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, good guy, you know. And he happened to know Dave, you know, and that's kind of crazy, you know, that like a guy in Brazil, in the middle of some neighborhood in Brazil, knows Dave, you know. So.
And then Mr. Kevin now training in Cuba, which has one of the best boxing teams. I mean, if you see in the Olympics, those guys always do awesome. So I'm very impressed, Mr. Kevin. Great job. Okay. And also, I liked what he was saying that the boxing coach told him. Can you film me for a second?
Yeah.
I like what he was saying, what the boxing coach told him in regards to sparring, because it's very congruent with what we do at FFA. As you guys know, in the beginning, you know, the only kind of sparring we have our new students do is grappling from the knees with no strikes, and it's only when you get invited into the combat athlete program, which is a few months into the training, where you start doing your first sparring sessions, and even then, your very first sparring session is an orientation that you do one-on-one with one of our world-class instructors. So it's like we're walking you up, and I know some guys get frustrated when you hear about that and go, oh, I want to spar right now, I'm tough, I fight a lot when I was growing up, or whatever, you know. Fact of the matter is, everybody's tough, but it's just like this gentleman was telling Mr. Kevin, you know, you want to first know the school of boxing, and then become a boxer, and then get into the ring for the school of combat. It's the same thing with us. We don't want just people to throw them into a sparring environment. We want to school you first, okay? Kevin was also given this manual. His coach was gracious enough, his boxing coach there, to give him like this boxing manual that's basically like a culmination of this guy's entire life of teaching, you know. And I was looking through it. It's got circuits. It's got stuff about you know, how to avoid overtraining. What are some remedies to overtraining? Different psychological stuff as well about how to prepare different fighters for getting into combat, to fighting, because some people need to get more amped up, some people need to be more chilled down. It's about different personality types. And you know what? I'm very impressed with this manual. I've been reading it today, and it's really good. And now we can add to our repertoire of stuff that we teach here, you know, some stuff from the Cuban boxing team. Okay, so it's very nice stuff, Mr. Kevin. I just want to say great job on the trip, and I'm glad you had a good time. Anything you want to throw out there before we sign off here?
I was touched by the fact that the guy gave me this stuff, because he never asked me for any money, he never asked me for anything. And then towards the end of our training, he told me, Kev, you know, I've only been training with you for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, but I already feel there's a shorthand. He would see me sparring, and he would tap his belly, and then I would go and try to hit the guy in the belly. He goes, you see, I like that. You're already looking at me in the peripheral. You're doing this. He goes, you know what? I like training with you. You know, I like it. You're an intelligent guy. You listen to what I say. And in Spanish, I don't know how to translate this well into English. He would say, es que me caes bien, chico. Me caes tan bien. And then the last day, he showed up with these books. And he says, listen, I've been training champions for 30 years. All right, that's what I've been doing. I've dedicated my life to that. All I do is think, sleep, eat boxing. At night, I lay in my bed, and when it's dark, sometimes I'm thinking of a new training routine or a new move that I want to do, and I have to get up and go to my computer and type it down and write it down. And like this, I've been documenting everything about my training, how I train people, how all my counterattacks, all my punches, all my footwork, and I've put it all down in a comprehensive way. And what I want to do is I want to give that to you. He told me, I want you to take this back to your gym, because I told him that I worked here at Freestyle Fighting Academy, because I want your gym to be the only gym that has something comprehensive that's of the Cuban school of boxing. He goes, nobody in the exterior has this, but you guys are going to have this. You guys are going to have the Cuban school of boxing under me, which is 30 years of my knowledge into paper form. And I want you to take this with you. This is my gift to you. Take it with you to your gym. And I was touched that he gave me this, you know, and that he gave me his book and his life's work. These 2 books that he gave me is basically his life's work on paper.
Nice. Well, we're definitely going to put it to use, and let's send him a gift back as well, Mr. Kevin. We'll send him something.
Yeah.
And we'll make it nice. And guys, if you're out there listening, Mr. Kevin here, you know, he's also one of our instructors, one of our mixed martial arts instructors. If you want to come and try out the classes and see all the stuff he's learning from around the world, I mean, that's his dedication to his job. You know, look us up, www.bestfreetrial.com. We have schools in Miami and Davie in South Florida. You can also give us a call at 1-888-FFA-GYMS.